What's going on, guys? What's up? Welcome back to Frunkla. So this is the chart that I am watching right now. Nasdaq and Bionano Genomics. The market is still open. It's going to be closed in the next 8 minutes. So Bionano Genomics is going to be reporting their first quarter 2022 earnings today once the market closes. So we are going to be here together to see how it's going to go. Shares of Bionano Genomics is down right now, minus 10.2%. Okay, 10.2%. Of course, the entire stock market is literally red right now, as you guys can see. So I hope you guys can hear me. Please let me know in the comment section if you can hear me. What's going on, guys? Bngo. So we have about 3 minutes before the market close. Nasdaq is down over 5% right now, guys. Investors are losing a lot of or all they are with a huge drawdown, because you don't lose until you sell. You don't lose until you sell. Bionano Genomics is down like minus 9.7%. So according to here you have the consensus earning per share of Bionano Genomics historically. This is the estimate, minus 0.07, and Bionano Genomics has more or less been missing, for the past 3 quarters. So the only time they met it was during Q1 2021. Okay, they met it, and we saw the effect. I mean, the stock market was already selling off, when they reported Q1 2021. So it wasn't really effective to stop the, sell off back from February. So yeah. Let's see what's gonna happen. Let's see what's going to happen. The market is still open. Everything is more or less selling off heavily. Look at Shopify. Shopify was down. It's down right now, minus 15%. I mean, down minus $72. Shopify has been dismantled, guys, killed. It's following the same story as Amazon. Because investors, sold Amazon. I think Amazon is even selling off heavily right now as well. And today, the Amazon version of the Spanish version of Amazon, they call it Mercado Libre, is going to report earnings today. I believe immediately the market closes, and that stock is already down minus 10%. So Amazon, sold off after earnings. Shopify, the same thing. Mercado Libre is going to, report today once the market closes. So those are some things that are presently happening in the market right now that I am watching as well. So for those of you that are interested, you can always drop a comment, and let me know if you want me to cover any stocks before Bngo earnings call is going to begin. This is Frunkla, and I remain your boy, Dayo. Be right back. I need to turn this off. So Bionano Genomics reports first quarter 2022 financial results and highlights recent business progress. 80% year-over-year revenue growth in Q1 2022. That's good. Achieved all Q1 2022 Elevate milestone. Strong balance sheet of 216 million. Okay, so going into this quarter, we had 250 million US dollars. So you guys can already tell how much, they burned in the first quarter. Okay, 216.5 million US dollars in cash equivalent, and available for sale security at the end of Q1 2022. Okay, conference call today, and so let's go through the key business highlights in Q1 in recent weeks. expanded the install base of Sapphire system to 176. So we went from last quarter, I believe we were at 163, 64. So that is that. 2020 up from 164 as of the end of Q4 and an increase of 64% over Q1 2021. Okay. Sold 3,225 nanochannel array flow cells during Q1 2022, a 24% growth over. Okay. I'm still going to go through my, where I saved all the details of Bngo once again and show you guys, so that we can see if there is a progress right here. 3,225, nanochannel sold. Now they launch. We know about this. The more or less rugged launched the rare undiagnosed genetic disease initiative to elevate the focus on dedication on rare disease. Blah 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 blah. We know about that. I already made a video about this, and then presented the latest research on OGM for use in a variety of applications at industry conferences across the globe, including the annual ACMG meeting. So we know about the ACMG meeting. I made a video about that as well, AACR as well. And then in China also there was a symposium, okay, for the Chinese people. I already, made a video about that as well. Launched version 6.2 of NS Clinical software with an integrated genomic scar analysis for homologous recombination deficiency, HRD. Okay, and let's just say microarray, blah blah blah. I already spoke about this as well. We know about that. Publication of the first use of OGM in combination with single cell techniques for comprehensive evaluation of cancer genetic variation, blah blah blah. We already know about that as well. OGM using Sapphire device was adopted at notable cytogenetics laboratories and academic United States, in Switzerland, in France, in Brazil. Okay, that's a good one. So we know about most of all these things. Let's just go. Let me see what Eric has to say about this quarter. Okay, I'm going to just read it out so that you guys can, So I quote, he said, "We believe our Q1 results, which include record revenue." I hope you guys can still hear me. I hope you guys can still hear me. So he said, I quote, so Bionano Genomics after hour is not down. I mean, Bngo, it's more or less the same. Okay, I mean, nothing has changed. We didn't go down, we didn't go up, just at 1.68, US dollars still. I think they are just gonna wait for the, forward guidance to hear what the CEO, the chief business officer, everybody are going to say about, what's gonna happen till the end of the year because of this inflation going crazy. Okay, so let me continue. So the CEO said, I quote, "We believe our Q1 results, which include record revenues for any Bionano Q1, show that the momentum in our business from 2021 has carried into 2022. Bionano Symposium kicked off this year and was well attended, which we believe showed strong support for OGM that should translate into future product uptake and revenue growth. This quarter's expansion in the Sapphire system installed base, combined with the increasing number of publications on OGM that reported key applications within cytogenomics and genomics research, provide additional indications of the potential for further OGM adoption." End quote. He continues, "We also expect that our planned integration of OGM into the NS Clinical software, which we expect to be completed later this year, should provide additional opportunities for OGM adoption. Finally, development of our next high throughput imaging system for OGM is progressing nicely and remains on track for pre-commercial use in the field by year end." Okay, so this one is a good news. This no more, first quarter of 2023. This used to be first quarter of 2020. So this one is good. "We believe all of these achieved and planned advancements, together with validation of OGM utility shown in recent publications, lay the foundation for further penetration of our target market and revenue growth." Okay, so this is good. Okay, I mean, they have moved the next generation, the high throughput next generation Sapphire device to ending of this year. It's not going to be first quarter of next year anymore. So this is good. So nothing is really going on with the share price of Bngo. I mean, I mean, I'm I'm impressed. Nothing is happening with, I mean, it's not even going down. Even though today was, just a horrible market, everything is literally down. Okay, you guys can see right here, most stocks are just down. Okay, so let's wait and see what analysts are going to say about these earnings. Because they are presently going through it right now, I believe, and then we are going to have the earnings call in the next few minutes. 3,969 in Q3 2021. Then in Q4, it came down because of some kind of problem with the supplier, something like that. The CEO made mention of it during the fourth quarter earnings call, the 2021 entire year earnings call. So right now we managed to sell 3,225, and this is also very important. Okay, consumables is very important because you want to know that people are using the Sapphire device. That's more or less what the consumable is showing. Okay, the number. So if you take a look at this, how number of Sapphire devices that we have managed to install in the Q1, 12 Sapphire devices, and that is low. It's a little bit higher than Q1 2021 because it was 10 Sapphire devices and right now 12. I mean, it's 2022. I'm not going to give much comment on that. We still have to hear from the CEO, okay, so that they can tell us what is going on with the company and why these numbers are like this. But you guys can already see the differences in Q3 2021-24. Q3 was more or less the best quarter for Bionano Genomics, but unfortunately, if you take a look at the share price of Bionano Genomics during the third quarter, after they reported their earnings, I mean, you would expect, when was the date of that third quarter earnings? I think it was sometimes in September, October. This is the dailies. This is the one that is it. I think it was somewhere around November, beginning of November. I think it was somewhere around here. I don't know. I still have to take a look at it later. So third quarter was the best quarter for BNGO so far. Okay, and even though third quarter was really good quarter, Bionano Genomics earning per share missed. Okay, because analysts, they were expecting BNGO to report minus 0.06, and then BNGO reported minus 0.07. So we will see what's going on. Of course, you guys have to understand that this is a long term. Okay, I mean, this company is just more or less at the beginning, in my opinion. Like I have been sharing with you guys. Okay, and the market right now is not really positive. We have a lot of negative things going on right now. Okay, in the stock market, in the entire market. Nasdaq, for example, you guys can see. I have been telling you guys, for months now that it is not really Bionano Genomics problem, it's the market problem. And most companies that are not profitable are selling off heavily. Okay, not just Bionano Genomics. We have Nano Dimension, for example. Okay, if you take a look at Nano Dimension, for example, let's take a look at 5 years of Nano Dimension. Look at that, 5 years. You guys can see it went public max. Let me just put max. It went public in 2016 around $79. Right now the share price of Nano Dimension, for example, is $2.92. Hopefully this is not going to be the portion of Bionano Genomics. Okay, so this is just an example of what is going on for companies that are not yet profitable. And according to my own prediction, okay, if you take a look at this my projection right here, let me reduce it a little bit, okay, so that we can all see it. Let me put 75. This is my projection. Okay, so Q1 2022 numbers versus date. I want to go to the profitability revenue. Okay, I want to show you guys revenue. So this is my projection of Bionano Genomics total revenue, BNGO, this more or less 9 years projection. Okay, and this is what I am more or less seeing so far. Okay, you guys can see it right there. Okay, 2022 30, 2021 18, more or less 30, this more or less what I'm projecting. So I still have about, you know, a couple of, at least I still have like 2 years, okay, at least 2 years to decide if, you know, BNGO is going to, you know, follow this projection or not. Okay, we still have till 2023-24, then we can know what is going on with the company. So this is my projection of BNGO. We are just right here at the beginning. Okay, if they bring out the next generation Sapphire device in the ending of this year, the commercial version according to the CEO, I believe that is going to help, okay, the company, okay, as a whole. It's going to increase the numbers of Sapphire devices that they are going to be installing. It's going to boost the revenue, and large users, large laboratories that need, you know, high throughput are going to be adopting, you know, the device as well. I have a couple of, you know, users, you know, I still have tons of information that I could be sharing with you guys now, but because of the situation of things right now, that's why I've been making, you know, less video, because, you know, I want to provide you guys with, you know, solid information, not just to make video for, you know, making video sake. Now if you go down to what the CEO said, okay, during this right here, you guys can see he said, finally, development of our next high throughput imaging system for OGM is progressing nicely and remains on track for pre-commercial use in the field by the year end. Okay, we believe all of these achieved and planned advancements, together with validation of OGM utility shown in recent publications, lay the foundation for further penetration of our target market and revenue growth. So I mean, that is it. You know, this is it, guys. Look at that, year end. Okay, that is the fourth quarter of this year, and I think this is good in a way, because right now the market is all about inflation and interest rate hike. Okay, every month Fed is going to be coming, they are going to be meeting and deciding what, you know, the interest rate is going to be, and that is going to continue towards the end of the year, I believe, you know, because, you know, I shared tons of information with, you know, those of you guys that are member of the channel. It costs about 99 cents, you know, to become a member of the channel. I have been making a lot of posts about, you know, the entire market, okay, about inflation, about the Fed, and what they are planning to do, about, you know, if the inflation is at the top or not, what's gonna happen. I've been sharing all of this information since when Russia invaded Ukraine, you know, back in March. And I believe I have been preparing you guys, you know, for what is presently going on. Okay, nothing really shocking is going on. Okay, so for those of you that are members, you already know what I'm talking about. So as you guys can see, when BNGO CEO says that, you know, they are targeting the end of the year to release the commercial version of the Sapphire, the next generation Sapphire device, and we already know that, you know, before the end of the year, all of this, you know, recession talks about, you know, Fed hiking interest rate and so on and so forth, at least would be close to over. Okay, so I think that is going to help Bionano Genomics. Okay, I mean, that's just a very bullish information that, you know, I have to share with you guys. I think that's going to help Bionano Genomics. And if, you know, the share price of BNGO stops going down, you know, if we find a solid bottom, okay, let's take a look at the chart of BNGO. If we find a solid bottom, okay, this more or less what is going on. I think the last time I made a video, I spoke about, you know, this channel right here, and we got out of that channel, as you guys can see. So more or less where we have our support right now, you know, I haven't, you know, checked this since I made my last video. So we have that, you know, the last support from March 13th or 14th of March. Okay, we have it around this level, around 1.66 US dollars. That's more or less where the, you know, after hour of BNGO is trading right now, 1.66 US dollars. Okay, around this yeah, around this level. So 1.60 to 1.66 US dollars. So if we are out of this channel right now, and you guys can see right here, if we can continue to find bottom consolidation, okay, if we continue to consolidate, let's say in the worst case scenario, the share price of BNG is not going up, which of course I think is not going to be the case. If we stop going up and we consolidate, you know, in this range till all these interest rate hike talks are over, you know, till we know where the inflation, you know, rate is going to be, blah blah. We know inflation has peaked. We now have the, you know, complete interest rate hike of 2022, blah blah blah. That's going to be very good for, you know, Bionano Genomics, because right now, according to the CEO, they have 200 and something million US dollars, you know, in cash. Okay, you guys can see right here, they have about 216.5 million US dollars in cash. So as long as they don't blow this money out, okay, till the end of the year, if we still sit on sizable amount of money till the end of the year, then that is another positive thing for the share price of Bionano Genomics. So I mean, we have 4 quarters in this year, and we have already spent about let me see. So we've spent 33.5 million US dollars according to Bionano Genomics. From last quarter earnings, they reported 250 million US dollars in cash, and right now 216.5 million. So that is 33.5 million in the first quarter of this year. So if you just multiply that by 4, I mean, that is 83. They need to, this right here is very, very important. Okay, this is very, very important until the company is profitable. This is very important. All right, so let me go through some of your comments so that I'm not just talking to myself here. So Bngo, I'm just going to put this here. We have about 3 minutes left till the earnings call. 3 minutes left, guys. Kale, my target price by 2023 is 10 US dollars. MOM, what's up, bro? How are you doing? Messenger of Moiseville, what's going on? What's up, Nazi? Nazi. In German, Nazi it means something entirely. Nazi. I would say Nazi. Shashiko, what's going on? How are you guys doing? Thanks. MOM. Rusty, what's up, bro? How are you doing? What's up, Kale? Mr. Hanky. What's going on, guys? What's up, Tom S? Yeah, Shashiko, I hope my projection is going to come through. That is, I mean, the reason why I'm sticking with Bionano Genomics is really very, I mean, it's a common sense. Okay, the same thing happened with Tesla. That is of course my thesis. That's of course why I jumped into Bngo from the beginning. Okay, when I made the projection and I saw where it I see where it is heading towards. Okay, that's of course one of the reasons why my conviction in this company increased. And I made a free I made like Bngo Bible. Okay, because I'm not just talking about Bionano Genomics, because a lot of people just come on board and insult me like I'm chilling Bngo every day. I also made a projection. I made this how many pages? This more or less like 79 pages. Okay, I made this 79 pages Bionano Genomics due diligence, which you guys can still find online. I stopped editing it. Okay, if I continue to edit it, it's going to be like maybe 150 pages right now. Okay, I made this. It is free. You guys can find it online. Okay, I made it back in 2021 April, May 26th 2021, and it's all about Bionano Genomics, what is going on with the company, the business, the services, and so on and so forth, acquisition and so forth, competitors. You guys can find tons of information. So I mean, anybody that thinks I'm just on this channel to talk about this company, I mean, I've done a lot of due diligence, and now all I just have to do is wait and see if everything is going to come through. So
thank you for holding, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, guys, we are live.
Bionano Genomics conference call. At this time, we are still gathering additional participants. We will get started momentarily. We thank you for your patience and ask that you please continue to hold.
live any moment from now, okay? They are like 1 minute late. Maybe they are also buying the dip of Nasdaq, who knows? Who knows? Bitcoin is down almost 9%, guys. Crazy. So Intelia missed EPS by 64.88%. Whoa, Intelia Therapeutics. Illumina reports 1.07 earnings per
Please stand
share.
by. We're about to begin. Good day and welcome to the Bionano Genomics First Quarter 2022 Earnings Conference Call. Today's conference is being recorded. At this time, I would like to turn the conference over to Amy Conrad from Investor Relations. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Jess, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Bionano Genomics First Quarter 2022 Financial Results Conference Call. Leading the call today is Dr. Erik Holmlin, CEO of Bionano. He is joined by Chris Stewart, CFO of Bionano. After market close today, Bionano issued a press release announcing its financial results for the first quarter of 2022. A copy of the release can be found on the Investor Relations page of the company's website. I would like to remind everyone that certain statements made during this conference call may be forward-looking, including statements about Bionano's revenue outlook, strategic and commercialization plans, anticipated benefits or improvements to Bionano's products, including the Saphyr system and NX clinical software, anticipated milestones for 2022, and the advantages of the Saphyr system over current technologies, and Bionano's expectations regarding study results and anticipated benefits of these studies in driving adoption of OGM. Such forward-looking statements are based upon current expectations, and there can be no assurances that the results contemplated in these statements will be realized. Actual results may differ materially from such statements due to a number of factors and risks, some of which are identified in Bionano's press release and Bionano's reports filed with the SEC. These forward-looking statements are based on information available to Bionano today, and the company assumes no obligation to update statements as circumstances change. In addition, to supplement Bionano's financial results reported in accordance with U.S. Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, or GAAP, the company is reporting non-GAAP operating expense. This non-GAAP financial measure is not meant to be considered in isolation or as a substitute for comparable GAAP measures. It should be read in conjunction with the company's consolidated financial statements prepared in accordance with GAAP, has no standardized meaning prescribed by GAAP, and is not prepared under any comprehensive set of accounting rules or principles. A description of non-GAAP operating expense and reconciliation of non-GAAP operating expense to GAAP operating expense are included at the end of the company's earnings release issued earlier today, which has been posted on the Investor Relations page of the company's website. An audio recording and webcast replay for today's conference call will also be available online on the company's Investor Relations page. With that, I will turn the call over to Erik. Erik?
Thank you, Amy, and good afternoon, everyone. We are really thrilled with our Q1 results. The momentum that built over 2021 has continued into this first quarter of 2022. I want to begin today's call with a summary of some key business highlights. So revenue was $5.7 million for Q1 2022, which represents an 80% year-over-year increase compared to the same period of 2021. In this first quarter of 2022, the revenue was a record for any first quarter in the company's history. Our Saphyr install base grew to 176 systems as of March 31st, 2022, which represents 64% growth over Q1 2021. In the quarter, we sold 3,225 flow cells. That represents a 24% year-over-year increase compared to the same period in 2021. And we ran 329 samples in Bionano laboratories in the first quarter of 2022, and that's a 45% year-over-year increase from the same period in 2021. We counted some 42 publications on optical genome mapping, or OGM, in the quarter, and we announced publication of the first readout of our ongoing clinical study in postnatal genetic diseases, which reported strong data that we believe will allow completion of the study this year. Bionano Symposium, which is the quintessential event for the OGM community, kicked off this year with a 63% increase in average daily attendance over 2021, which was the first year that we hosted Symposium. And this year it included 31 presentations, 37 posters, all of which highlighted OGM's utility in a variety of applications across genetic diseases, cancer, and analysis for bioprocessing and gene editing. Other events in the first quarter included China Symposium, which was a version of Symposium that was hosted entirely in Mandarin and featured many speakers who have experience with optical genome mapping in China. We were at ACMG, which is the College of Medical Genetics and Genomics, and that's where we launched our Rugged initiative, which focuses on the 350 million people with rare diseases. We were at the AACR annual meeting and featured optical genome mapping in an additional 19 presentations and posters overall, which continue to expand the message of how optical genome mapping is utilized. Our customers are consistently excited about the capabilities of optical genome mapping, and they are working with us to evangelize optical genome mapping around the world. Now, I want to take a moment to speak about the performance of our stock price. As you know, our sector of growth stocks and healthcare has experienced a greater impact than has the broader market. While we are disappointed with the performance over the past several months, our focus as leaders of the company is on executing our long-term growth plan, hitting our milestones that we outlined during our last call and we will revisit today, which have been designed to drive value. We're pleased that we have achieved all of our anticipated milestones in 2021, and we expect to achieve those stated milestones for 2022. Looking ahead to the rest of this year, our financial guidance remains on track, and the company expects full year 2022 revenues to be in the range of $24 to $27 million, which would represent a range of 33 to 50% growth over full year 2021 revenue. And we expect the second quarter 2022 revenues to be in the range of $6 to $6.5 million. Now, before handing over to Chris to cover some of the financials in a little more detail, I want to spend time to break down our plan for growth and long-term value, which is based on the 5 pillars we set out during our last call. The first pillar is expanding commercial traction and validation of optical genome mapping with Saphyr. We want to drive adoption of optical genome mapping by targeting roughly 2,500 labs comprising academic medical centers and regional reference labs that account for about half of the sample volumes processed in cytogenetics today. The applications driving adoption are genetic disease research, including rare, undiagnosed genetic diseases or Rugged, and cancer. In Rugged, optical genome mapping is providing valuable information in diagnosing diseases that are challenging to diagnose using current techniques. In cancer, our primary focus initially is on blood cancers, leukemias, and lymphomas. And if we are able to continue penetrating these segments and growing our installed base, we believe it will validate optical genome as a method that's gaining widespread traction in the field, which can play an important role in influencing the various agencies that evaluate, for example, applications for reimbursement of OGM-based tests or consideration of OGM in various guidelines set by medical societies. We have set an ambitious goal of reaching 240 Saphyr systems installed worldwide by the end of 2022, and we are on track to achieve it. Another important component of validation that comes with increasing the installed base would be if OGM users develop their own assays and validate them as laboratory-developed tests, or LDTs, or similar types of assays outside the U.S. The growing installed base and number of laboratory-developed tests would provide agencies that evaluate the relevance of new medical technologies such as OGM, and those agencies include ones like the American Medical Association, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, World Health Organization, and others, with the evidence that there is an established need in the field that optical genome mapping could impact. So the first pillar is focused on expanding the installed base, which drives validation. The second is to delight our customers with robust products that are suitable for routine use at scale. We believe successful customers at this stage of our commercial ramp are incredibly important. Not only do we expect them to form a part of our base for consumables revenue growth, but we expect them to serve as a network of early adopters that advocate for the utility of OGM and for Bionano as a partner. One of the areas where our commercial headcount has grown substantially is in customer solutions, and this is the team that installs Sapphire systems, trains lab and data analysis personnel, and supports them as they run and analyze their sample. We believe this investment is important to keep the install base growing, productive, and to keep them excited about the increasing capabilities of optical genome mapping. In addition to building and fielding a strong support team, we have a number of planned product updates, including updates to our DNA isolation and labeling chemistries, integration of optical genome mapping into our NX clinical software. All of these new advances should simplify product workflows and in turn enhance the ease of use and eliminate certain aspects of product design that we have found to be challenging to either product shelf life or performance in the field. So we're very focused on customer delight and product robustness. And the third pillar in our plan focuses on clearing the path for reimbursement of optical genome mapping-based tests. We are building a critical mass of OGM data through our family of clinical studies, and we've talked to you about these studies on a repeated basis. It's a significant investment that the company is making, and these studies are designed to first evaluate optical genome mapping utility in a variety of indications, genetic diseases, hematologic malignancies, and cancer, solid tumors. And as these studies progress, they provide the essential comparisons against the standard of care that could, if compelling, result in optical genome mapping being included into medical society recommendations, such as those by College of Medical Genetics, World Health Organization, and National Comprehensive Cancer Network, or NCCN, in cancer. These 4 studies are underway or getting underway. They provide this critical support and will further advance our ability to penetrate into our target markets and support potential third-party reimbursement by insurance companies and other agencies responsible for paying for healthcare. These studies span our major markets and have been designed to demonstrate optical genome mapping as an alternative to traditional cytogenetic methods, and they emphasize key endpoints: concordance with standard of care, increase in the success rate for finding pathogenic variants, health economic impact, and the potential for revising protocols for patient management that we hope results in better outcomes. The long-term goal of all these studies is to provide critical data that support optical genome mapping as a standard of care in the field. As these studies progress, we believe the data will serve as a basis for applications of optical genome mapping on a go-forward basis, and we plan to keep you continuously updated, and you will be seeing more and more publications on these studies going forward. Now, the fourth pillar of our plan is to advance our products that in a way that enables higher market adoption of current products, and entry into new markets. In addition to rolling out enhancements that we believe improve the products in customers' hands, as we've talked about, centered on robustness, we're working on major new products that we anticipate releasing over the course of this year and into 2023. Now, the first of those products is version 7.0 of our NX Clinical software, which we acquired through the acquisition of BioDiscovery. Now, this version of NX Clinical is being designed to fully integrate the structural variation visualization, interpretation, and reporting capabilities that NX Clinical already has for next-generation sequencing and microarray data. We believe that this combination of data types in a single software environment with the capabilities that BioDiscovery software is widely known for across cytogenetics and cytogenomics can be that innovation that transforms the way the world sees the genome. We believe that adding these capabilities will also enhance the value of optical genome mapping and can be a significant driver of future adoption of OGM. The second key aspect of product advancement is the next version of genome mapping instrument. We completed a prototype of that system last year, and we're focused on bringing a pre-commercial version to the field this year before we finalize development in 2023 and release the new system commercially. With our current Saphyr system, we believe we have a product that is suitable for most labs worldwide, but those labs account for only about half of the volume of samples. The balance of volume is concentrated in a smaller number of labs. We estimate to be fewer than 500 that run very high volumes around the world. Some of those institutions are currently evaluating the Saphyr system and establishing their plans for menu development, but we believe a higher throughput system will be important if we want to capture that volume. Other capabilities that this new system will have include sample random access, allowing for stat processing, the ability to scale from 1 to 6 systems working in unison, and it will also be part of an integrated workflow supported with automation of sample preparation and integration of NX Clinical software. In addition to targeting these high-volume segments of the market, there are other segments, including those outside the U.S., that will benefit if that system is eventually taken through a process of FDA clearance. With this new generation of system, we intend to begin the process of taking it through the FDA after it's commercially released in 2023. It's important to note that with Saphyr, which doesn't have FDA clearance, we believe we can address the majority of labs and testing volumes in markets we are currently targeting. But we also believe having FDA approval for the next instrument can expand our total available market and accelerate global adoption. So that will be a key advancement. Finally, as our fifth pillar, we intend to make software a strategic driver of Bionano solutions. We're using NX Clinical and Nexus Copy Number, the two software products from BioDiscovery, to target the existing installed base of sequencers and arrays, which we estimate to be at least 10,000 systems installed worldwide. We believe our software products have a strong value proposition for these customers today, and increasing the number of NX Clinical and Nexus Copy Number subscribers, meaning increasing the number of Bionano subscribers, will help us build relationships with these customers so that when they're ready to incorporate optical genome mapping into their labs, they will be familiar with Bionano, our team, and our tools. This quarter, we launched version 6.2 of NX Clinical software with an integrated genomic scar analysis for homologous recombination deficiency, or HRD. And this feature provides a comprehensive, consistent, and automated analysis of biomarkers from next-generation sequencing and microarray data that can help clinical researchers stratify therapeutic response across multiple tumor types. This analysis allows cancer researchers to gain important insights from genetic data that they're already generating from arrays and sequencing. And we believe this product will be useful to next-generation sequencing users focused on oncology by providing them with a powerful tool for visualization, interpretation, and reporting of their data. Now, once NX Clinical 7.0 is available with the integration of optical genome mapping, we believe this capability will drive more adoption of OGM solutions, and we've already had data presented from Augusta University that shows the importance of combining sequencing and OGM analysis in this way, especially in hematologic malignancies. Now, all the time while we are executing this strategy, it's on the backdrop of a challenging environment with the lasting impact of COVID and the global instability. We have faced potential challenges in staffing and supply. And so wherever possible, we believe we have anticipated these challenges. And while we believe that they represent an ever-present risk or concern, we have managed them now for several quarters, and we will continue to be vigilant against them. I'm very proud of what our team has done to operate the company, and I feel confident that if we maintain that vigilance, we have the opportunity to face the challenges that may come. Now, at this point, I'd like to turn the call over to Chris, our CFO, for an overview of our financials. Chris?
Thanks, Eric. The first quarter of 2022 is another great quarter for Bionano. We demonstrated strong performance in the face of our typical Q1 seasonal softness and the macro headwinds that Eric mentioned. We recorded significant year-over-year revenue growth and continued the steady growth in the install base of Saphyr OGM systems. Our revenue in the first quarter of 2022 was $5.7 million, in line with our previous guidance range of $5.5 to $5.8 million. This result is an increase of $2.5 million or 80% over the first quarter of 2021. Compared to the fourth quarter of 2021, results were consistent with the typical seasonality that we see in our business. Gross margin for the first quarter came in at 15%, compared to 33% in the first quarter of 2021 and just 4% in the fourth quarter of 2021. The year-over-year decrease was primarily due to lower yields on our chip consumables produced at one of our contract manufacturers. We are making good progress with our supplier and have started to see improvement to our yields. However, we expect it to take a few more quarters before our yields return to historic levels and gross margins significantly improve. First quarter 2022 GAAP operating expense was $30.8 million compared to $12.2 million in the first quarter of the prior year. Non-GAAP operating expense was $24.3 million compared to $11.8 million in the first quarter of 2021. First quarter 2022 non-GAAP operating expense excludes $5.1 million in stock-based compensation expense and $1.4 million in amortization of intangibles. The year-over-year increase in OpEx was primarily due to increased headcount-related spending, increased R&D expense, and increased marketing expense. We ended the first quarter with 309 employees, up from 164 employees in Q1 of 2021. Going forward, we expect the growth in headcount and spending to moderate from the pace of growth we saw last year. We continue to be well capitalized with $216.5 million in cash equivalents, and available for sale securities as of March 31st, 2022. As Eric mentioned, we remain on track to our full year 2022 revenue guidance to be in the range of $24 to $27 million. Q2 revenue is expected to be in the range of $6 to $6.5 million. Before I turn the call back over to Eric, I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you that our annual meeting is coming up on June 9th. You may have received your proxy and voting materials in the mail or online through your brokerage firm. Please vote your shares as soon as possible, as this will help us get to a quorum for the annual meeting. Now I'll turn it back over to Eric for closing remarks.
Great. Thank you, Chris. And I want to close with a review of our milestones for this year. And we're on track to achieve our Elevate 2022 milestones. As we outlined on our last call, we have several milestones planned for this year across the 5 pillars of Elevate, including in reimbursement, clinical studies, expanding awareness, and product development. In the first quarter, we plan to receive IRB approval for our hematologic study and to apply for a Category 1 CPT code for optical genome mapping. And I'm pleased to say that both were completed. We're enrolling subjects in the heme study and gathering feedback from the CPT code application process. And we, of course, look forward to updating you on the milestones that we're going to be achieving here in the second quarter and over the course of the remainder of the year. In closing, I just want to reiterate that we're really excited about the progress that we've made so far in 2022. And we look forward to updating you soon about this second quarter, as well as our progress for the remainder of the year. And with that, Jess, we are ready to take questions.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question or comment, it is star 1 on your touch-tone phone. Again, that is star 1 for any questions or comments at this time. Our first question comes from Michael Okonowicz at Maxim Group. Your line is open. Please go ahead.
Hey there. Thanks for taking the question.
Of course.
So, I'd like to start off, I guess, with a bit of a big picture kind of question, and I'm asking for a bit of speculation here. Could you give kind of your idea of what you think of the application and utilization of Saphyr, the type of customer, and what the addressable market looks like for Saphyr on the other side of the clinical programs, assuming that gets you reimbursement into the clinical guidelines? Essentially, how would a Saphyr system with validated and reimbursed diagnostic use in those 4 markets be used differently from how it is today?
Thanks, Michael. Good question. And I think that we kind of understand this roadmap because it's been followed before for other solutions such as microarrays and next-generation sequencing in certain applications. And so clearly today, people who are applying optical genome mapping in their clinical research are using it to find more answers. And increasingly, they're integrating the information they get from analysis with optical genome mapping together with sequencing analysis to provide really a comprehensive view of genome variation, which can answer questions about why a particular phenotype exists. But in many settings, they're being used for research applications that begin to investigate patients or subjects in a clinical research study who may have been negative by traditional methods in standard testing, and so they're enrolled in a clinical trial to explore why they're negative by standard of care and yet clearly exhibiting the symptoms and signs of a genetic disease or cancer. So the answers to those questions are powerful research findings that can define future tests or future interventions and maybe even pull in some existing interventions that were missed by the standard of care for some reason. So that's a good synopsis of current use in the RUO space. Now, as clinical adoption happens more frequently, especially on the heels of inclusion of optical genome mapping as a first-line test recommended by medical society guidelines, it becomes just that. It's the first-line test. So it becomes the standard of care. And so when the sample is submitted to the laboratories typically follow these guidelines very closely, and so they will apply optical genome mapping first. And there will be other analyses that follow it after. And so that's what we believe will be pretty much that's our goal, let me say, in conducting these studies and hopefully influencing the medical society guidelines. But that's only part of our vision. Because as you know, you're an expert on optical genome mapping, it doesn't detect sequence variants. But there is a solution out there that does that really well. It's next generation sequencing. And so what we believe is an outstanding future state, and it's something that we believe the market recognizes as well and is working toward, is that genome sequencing is recommended as a first-line analysis for sequence variants, and optical genome mapping could potentially be recommended as a first-line analysis for structural variants, and those two are used in combination, and that's the game changer. And so when you talk about the volume of samples that are going through cytogenetic analysis, now they're being sequenced and mapped every single time because those are the first-line recommended tests that medical societies advocate. There's a lot of work to be done between now and then, and as you know, it's a competitive environment and there can be new technologies and new solutions, but that's the vision that we're driving toward.
Thank you. I really appreciate that answer. As just a general follow-up, I'd like to get a bit more into the onto the finances and specifically on your revenues or on the unit placements. You had about 12 placements this quarter. It's a bit of a decline from the fourth quarter. Does this track with the typical seasonality of the first quarter versus the end of the year that you would normally see in previous quarters?
Yes. So for sure. So like the business as a whole, and Chris mentioned this in his comments, that we're accustomed to a seasonality there, and Q4 was very solid for installations. And I want to be clear here: we're talking about systems that we've installed, and we're not measuring. The definition of placement is variable in the field, and so we're not actually talking about like deals that we did per se or POs that came in. We're just talking about systems that were installed and the growth in the installed base. That's the most objective metric. But one of the things that I can tell you about it is that we ended the quarter with several systems that were in a backlog for installation, and that backlog was driven by some of the effects of Omicron and COVID, which reduced staffing and caused delays in installation. So I think the answer is we always expected a sequential decline. The overall demand and success on the business side was solid. Our ability to operationally install them was impacted by COVID, and we're catching up.
All right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking the questions.
No problem. Thank you.
With no other questions holding, I'll turn the conference back to Dr. Holmlin for any additional or closing comments.
Thank you very much, Jess. Well, I appreciate everybody joining this call, and as I've said already, we look forward to updating you on our progress during this second quarter in our next call. So thank you very much.
And ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude today's call. We thank you for your participation. You may disconnect at this time.
All right, guys. So that is it, guys. So you all heard what the CEO has to say and the chief business officer has to say about Bionano Genomics. If we go to let me quickly go to bngo.com and bring out the document. Okay, I'm very sure we have some new filings, sec filings. So May 5, we have the 10K, the form 10K is in. Let's take a look at, so this one is about blah, 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 blah. This is about the earnings. For those of you that are wondering, what they brought in. You have the product. So this is 2022, 3 months ended March 31st. I'm gonna make it bigger a little bit so that you guys can see it clearly. Let's take a look at this number. Product revenue, this is from the installed base, okay, 3.1 million US dollars. Service and other revenue, 2.5 million US dollars, and the total revenue, 5.6 million US dollars. Because somebody in the comment section, Nazi A, was talking about the CEO being compensated 5 million US dollars every year. I mean, this one is from the quarter, okay, just from the first quarter, 5.6 million US dollars from the first quarter, okay. And according to the CEO, they are targeting about 24 to 27 million US dollars in total revenue till the end of this year, okay, for 2022, which of course is not really I mean, you guys have to understand that the CEO always, under promise, okay? He under promise and he over deliver. So if they are targeting from 24 to 27 million US dollars, you should be expecting close to 30 million US dollars, okay? I mean, if you take a look at my projection, let me quickly open that because I need to show you guys some. Let's close this. I need to show you guys some of my projection for BNGO 2022. You guys can see right here, my projection is saying 28.5 million US dollars, okay, for 2022 right here. 28, this right here, I still have to go through all these numbers once again. So here I have 30 million US dollars, okay, for 2022, and here I still need to update it, I believe. Okay, so it's been updated. Total revenue 30.9 million US dollars, and products on sales, this is what I need to take a look at once again. So you can easily tell that they are following this projection that I have right here. Okay, for those of you that are still wondering what is going on with the company, look at that. So for 2023, because they are going to have the next generation Sapphire device, okay, at the end of this year, and then I expect the install base of Sapphire device to keep increasing, okay, I mean exponentially. 2023 right here, I have a projection of about 90. Okay, I believe maybe this is too much, okay, but you guys can already tell they should be reporting double of what they will report at the end of 2022. They are targeting like from 24 to 27 million US dollars. I mean, I believe it's possible that they are going to get close to my my target of 30.9 million US dollars. Okay, so if they report 30 million at the end of this year, you can already tell what is going to happen next year. And that is, of course, I mean, if BNGO share price finds bottom right now, okay, at this level, 1.6 US dollars level, and and all this news about interest rate hike and stuff goes away, okay, and finally everything has been priced into the market, okay, because right now the Fed is still coming in and saying, okay, 75 basis points is off the table, we are going to stick to 50 basis point and blah blah blah. So we have a lot of noise going on right now in the market. So you can easily tell what is possible for Bionano Genomics, and that's of course why I keep coming on this channel, to share due diligence with you guys, and share my own my opinion with you guys about this company, okay, and I'm still here for you guys. So this is the projection, guys. That is the projection. Now let's go back to the number. PDF file. So 5.6 million dollars total revenue for Q1, and then we have the product revenue, operating expenses. Okay, this is where total operating expenses 30.8 million dollars. And according to the chief financial officer, he said going forward they are not going to go crazy with adding head count. They want to reduce, they are going to slow down on adding head count. Okay, I think that is one of the reasons why this money is total expenses is increasing significantly, because last year, okay, first quarter of last year, they had about 100 and something employees. Right now Bionano Genomics has over 300 employees, okay, over 300. I made a video about that a couple of weeks ago. So I believe that is also increasing the expenses. So once they reach the once they slow down and the head count is not increasing, and once it starts to decrease, I think that is of course going to, let me increase this a little bit because I don't want to look like a tiny guy. So I think that's also going to help, the operating expenses to, come down. And of course, I don't think they are still putting a lot of money into research and development. Let me see if I can find that research and development right here. I still have to take some time and, take a closer look at all these numbers once again. Research and development. So if they don't put a lot of money into research and development like they, were putting because of the new Sapphire devices that they are building, that is of course also going to, help somehow until they are profitable. So this is the form 10Q of Bionano Genomics. I just want to see if I can find some. So total liability and stockholder. I want to take a look at the available shares. Okay, the common stock, blah 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 blah. 289 right here. Shares authorized March 31st, 2022 and December 31st, 289.6 million and 289 shares issued and outstanding at. Okay, so this is the outstanding share, 289.6 million. Okay, the outstanding shares. And if you go further, research and development right here, guys, research and development. Let me increase it a little bit. So research and development, we have 10.5 million US dollars in the first quarter. You can see the reason why this money is blowing up. Okay, 10.5 million US dollars, and then selling and general administrative 20 points. So this is it, selling and general administrative. Okay, money is going into sales. Total operating expenses, that's why we got up to this 30.8 million dollars for the first quarter. So research and development is 10.5 million dollars. So selling and general administrative. So these are the things that we need BNGO to we need Bionano Genomics to get to report earnings above this level. Okay, if they can start to report over 30 million dollars per quarter, like I said several months ago, they need to be reporting tens of millions of US dollars per quarter, not just under, like for example now they reported 5.6 million US dollars. Okay, almost 5.7 million US dollars. They need to be reporting like like 35 45 million US dollars. Then we can start to break even. Then we can start to talk about the company being profitable, or they have to reduce selling general and administrative expenses. I think research and development is still very very unneeded, because this is a growth company. Now, I want to see if I can find some other things to share with you guys in the balance sheet as a 31st March 20, blah blah blah. Some these are just full of numbers. So if we go down a little bit, I'm trying to see if I can find that PDF file that they were sharing with us during this so it's not yet available right here. I still need to come back here. The PDF file is not yet available. So yeah, that is it, guys. Bionano Genomics Q1 2022 earnings. If you have any question, let me know before we end this, so that I can make an extra video and post it about these earnings. If you have any question, guys, let me know. It's Nazi, it's always like that. You have to take a look at the company, take a look at the potential of the company, and take a look at the numbers, see if they are delivering. Like right now, everything is still, they are more or less still on track, in my own opinion. The stock market, this share of BNG used to be at cent. Okay, couple of months ago when I jumped on board, it was around 40 something cents. Right now it's at 1.6. It depends on when you jumped on board. I know most of us also have some positions open above 10 US dollars. Some of us are down significantly on some of our positions, so it's normal. That's why of course I'm allowing you to share your opinion. Okay, we need all opinions on table right now, negative, positive. We just need to talk about the company and how it can move forward, of course. So yeah, according to some experts, you have to invest in potential of a company. Just like Tesla is a perfect example. Once the product is out, once the company becomes profitable, it's going to be close to too late, okay, to make any money from such company. So that's more or less the idea of investing. You have to find a company with a prospect, okay, a good future. Invest in it while nobody wants, few people understand the business, and wait until they deliver everything, and then just watch how everything is going to skyrocket. EPS, earning per share. You just have to, if you want to calculate earning per share, you just have to calculate the revenue divided by available shares. Okay, then you have the EPS. But Yahoo Finance have some kind of experts that always calculate all these things with them. So I'm still waiting to see what Yahoo Finance is going to post. Okay, because last quarter I calculated the EPS, and according to my own calculation, BNGO met the earning per share, but then Yahoo Finance came in and said they missed by so amount. So I'm just waiting to see what the experts are going to say about this. So I made a video that I am not buying the dip anymore. Okay, my average is around 1.8. I'm not buying the dip anymore. I'm just holding on and waiting. Okay, if BNGO share price gets above some level, I will add to that. If not, for now, I'm just sitting because the entire market, you can already see what is going on with the entire market. So this is not rocket science. And buying the dip also depends on your pocket. Okay, it depends on how much you are willing to invest in this company, how much you are willing to play with, how much you are willing to let go for a while. So that's more or less the idea of investing. I mean, you don't need to sell the entire house and put all the money on shares of this company. So any question, guys? Any question? We have to end this video in the next couple of minutes. Okay. Any question, guys, before we end this video? So we have some companies that reported. NTLA just reported their earnings, and nothing is happening after hours. They are also more or less following Bionano Genomics as well. Okay, Intelligent Advisor reports Q1 loss stops. Okay, 8 hours ago they reported already. 8 hours ago, Q1 loss stops revenue. So Illumina. So Illumina crushes earnings forecast. Okay, look at that. Illumina, beat their earnings. Those sales only meet expectation. Illumina, this is good for the genomics sector entirely. Illumina crushed earnings forecast on Thursday, though the next generation DNA sequencer just met sales views. Illumina stock was unchanged. So nothing is also going on with Illumina, which is of course good for the genomic sector. Now let's take a look at, before I end this video, let's quickly take a look at the map of what is going on in the stock market today. Okay, I mean the entire market just turned red. Look at that. One day performance of the stock market. Red. Only few greens. Okay, we can only find some tiny greens. Okay, even the energy sector suffered. I mean, not really much today, but also went down today. And look at that. Microsoft minus 4.3%. Apple is down minus 5.5%. Nvidia is down massively. Tesla got seriously hammered today, minus 8.3%. Facebook is more or less unchanged after they reported a good quarter. Google is down, and AMD, where is AMD? AMD, went down a little bit. Yesterday, AMD reported their earnings, and it was, I mean, 2 days ago or so, it was good. So, look at that. This is the entire stock market, guys. This is not just about Bionano Genomics. The market is getting hammered today. So, Illumina is also more or less unchanged after reporting. They met, analyst estimates. They beat earnings, but still nothing is happening with the stock after hours. Thermo Fisher, this is the diagnostics and research sector. You can see how most of all the stocks are down today. Look at that. Pac Bio is down minus 11.93% today. Okay, Pac Bio minus 11.96% today. Pac Bio is heading towards single digits, guys. I mean, penny stock. I meant to say it's already a single digit. I remember when this stock was trading around, $15, I was predicting that Pac Bio is heading below $10. Of course, Bionano Genomics has also been going down since then. So you can see the entire sector is turning red now. If you take a look at the 6-month performance, okay, this is more or less what is going on in the past 6 months. Pac Bio is down minus 78.2% in the past 6 months. Okay, Pac Bio is of course into DNA sequencing, but some experts believe it's more or less a competitor to Bionano Genomics, and that's of course where ARK Invest has been pumping their money. Okay, so this is the past 6 months of the stock market, and only the energy sector is making money right now. You guys can see it right here. Only the energy sector, any stock, look at that. Some are even up almost 100%. KOS is up 94% to, in the past 6 months alone. Okay, look at that. Meanwhile, if you go to this sector, software application, they are getting hammered heavily. So, I mean, that's more or less what's going on with the market. All right, guys. So see you guys in the next one. I remember your boy Dayo. This is Frunkla. Remember to smash the like button, support your boy. I mean, it's good that we all come here and talk about a company investing. That is of course a positive thing on its own. Talking about investing, about the future of genomics, about a company that is possibly going to revolutionize, the genomic sector, or is already revolutionizing this sector right now. We want to replace, karyotyping, old method of analyzing genomes, FISH and so on and so forth, so that more people can understand what is going on in their genomes. Okay, those that are suffering, we have millions of people suffering from rare genetic diseases. Some of them don't have answers to what is wrong with them. That is why most of us are invested in this company, and we are crossing our fingers for the success of Bionano Genomics. So see you guys in the next one. I remember with Dayo. This is Frunkla. Ciao ciao. Thanks Nazi, thanks Rusty, thanks Jax, thanks everybody. AP, thanks everybody, thanks for checking in. Thanks Satori. Good evening to everyone. Who else? Thanks Simon. Thanks Joseph. See you guys in the next one. Ciao ciao.